again and welcome back to your biology practical class. Today we will be doing two practicals which are left from your syllabus. So first, what are they? Let me tell you. First I will be showing you the spotting. So what is the heading? That virtual specimens or slides or models have identifying features of amoeba, hydra, liver fluke, ascaris, leech, earthworms, prawn, silkworm, honeybee, snail, starfish, shark, rohu, frog, lizard, pigeon and rabbit. I will be discussing the characteristic features of all those animals. And another practical is there, that is study and describe a locally available common flowering plant from any one family, Solanaceae or Liliaceae. Poaceae, Asteraceae or Brassicaceae can be substituted in case of particular geographical location, including dissection and display of floral whorls, anther and ovary to show the number of chambers, floral formulae and floral diagrams. So first we will be doing the spotting or the study or the observation part. So in the previous class I have discussed about some specimens which are coming under the kingdom Animalia. Okay, so before entering into the topic, let me introduce about the characteristic features of the Animalia. So you can remember that W.R.H. Whittaker in the year of 1969 discovered 5 kingdom classification system, but before that it was 2 kingdom, 3 kingdom, 4 kingdom, at the end 5 kingdom classification system has been developed. Okay, so Linnaeus first classify living organisms into 2 kingdoms. What are they? Animal kingdoms and plant kingdoms. And after that, due to the development of the study, we have got this 5 kingdom classification system. And what are they? They are Monera, Protista, Fungi, Plantae and Animalia. So, okay. In Mammon Practical 4, 1 dicot, 1 was supposed to be written. Then any specific, no need of writing about any specific plant. Just write down their common characteristics. Clear? So what I was telling to you, that 5 kingdom classification system. So what are they? Monera, Protista, Fungi, Plantae and Animalia. So what about Monera? That is, they are usually, you know that they are coming under the lower group. That means they are prokaryotic. Some are heterotrophic mainly and some will be autotrophic organisms. And what will be the examples? The common examples are bacteria, cyanobacteria. That means they are coming under the group Monera. Next one is the Protista. Again you know that unicellular eukaryotic organisms are coming under this Protista group, right? So dinoflagellates, slime molds are coming under this Protista. Next one, fungi. Under this fungi group we will be getting eukaryotic multicellular heterotrophic organisms. Okay. So what are the common examples? Yeast, mushrooms are coming under this fungi group. Next one is the Plantae, which one I have discussed in the previous class. That means they are eukaryotic, multicellular and photosynthetic organism, and all green plants are coming under this Plantae group. And the last and the most important group is the kingdom Animalia. That means they are the eukaryotic, multicellular, mobile, mostly heterotrophic. That means they are showing holozoic mode of nutrition, and animals are coming under this group. Yeah, you need to draw all the diagrams from your lab manual. Clear? So now you know that under this kingdom Animalia there are some phylums. What are they? All these I have discussed in your theory portion, because there is a chapter in your theory book which is called as kingdom Animalia. So what are they? Porifera, Nidaria, Platyhelminthes, Nemathelminthes, Annelida, Arthropoda, Mollusca, Echinodermata and Chordata, right? So these are some main phylum that can be found under this kingdom Animalia. And you know that how phylum Chordata is again subdivided into subphylums, and they are also divided into some classes. Okay, so what was our aim or object of this particular practical? So which one? I have told you at the beginning. That means the heading which is written in your syllabus will be your aim or objective of this particular practical. And after that is, you know that materials required, and for this particular practical you know that I will be providing you the specimen. You should bring a copy, practical copy, a rough notebook, pencil, pen, eraser to draw the diagrams in your copy. Now next one is the procedure. So what will be the procedure? It is the same with the previous one. How? That is, you will be checking the characteristics. Just a minute. I will be telling you the characteristics from the specimen, and you will be writing in your rough copy, and you will be drawing the label diagram from the specimen. That is the procedure for this practical. Now let's move to the last part of this practical, that is characteristics or observation. Okay, there you will be going to write the characteristic features, main characteristics feature of all those animals. In your book you will be getting that classification is also mentioned, but it is not needed. No need of writing the classification in your copy, but you need to read before the viva, because questions can be asked from the classification in your viva. So which one was the first one? You can see already I have drawn on the board, that is the amoeba. So what is the classification of amoeba? That it is coming under the kingdom Animalia, phylum Protozoa, and its scientific name is, and that means its genus name is amoeba and its species name is Proteus. Now you can see that what is the shape of the amoeba? It is not having any particular shape, so we can say it is irregular in shape. And what is the habitat of the amoeba? It can be found nearly in ponds, ditches, lakes, streams, etc., where plenty of organic matters are there. Okay, and you can see that they are unicellular and it cannot be seen through naked eyes, as that is why I have drawn it on the board as they are microscopic. Okay, so they are microscopic, unicellular and slightly grayish in color and very small in size, and they are having some contractile vacuole, large size prominent nucleus. They form food vacuoles. Okay, and they are showing mainly holozoic mode of nutrition, and they are having some finger-like projection. You can see, so these are some projections. They are having some finger-like projections. These are called as pseudopodia, which is needed for their locomotion, for capturing food, and etc., for doing many other purposes. Okay, so these are the main criteria that can be found in case of amoeba. Okay, and they can reproduce sexually by binary fission or multiple fission, and in some unfavorable condition they can form the cyst. Okay, so these are the main criteria of the amoeba. Now, like the previous one, again I am telling you, whenever you will be going to write it down in your copy, you will get that in your book it is written as comments and diagnostic feature. So you need to mention the diagnostic features and some important points from the comments. So what you will be doing, you will make your own points in short by mixing all those 2 points. Okay, so that means the points whatever I am mentioning, the main points, you should write it down. Clear? But whenever you will be coming to on your examination day, please write down whatever the points you can see from the specimens and 1 or 2 main points. So it will be okay if you write 4 to 5 points. Clear? So let's move to the next one. Next one is the hydra. You can see again it cannot be seen through the naked eyes. That is why I have drawn the diagram of the hydra, and it is also coming under the can we underline the important one? Yeah. This is totally your choice, but don't use any other colors. Use only blue and black color pen. Okay, you can underline the main points. Next one is the hydra. Hydra is coming under the kingdom Animalia, and you can remember the Cnidaria. It is coming under the phylum Cnidaria. And what are the common characteristics we can found under the Cnidaria? Very easy, that they are having nematocysts, stinging organs, right? So these are the body plan of the hydra. This is the body, pouch-like structure, and these are tentacles. These are tentacles of the hydra. Okay, so Where hydra can be found? Hydra can also be found in the cool and fresh water like pools, lakes, streams, etc. And their body consists of that elongated closed base with a single opening, and tentacles are there. As they are coming under this nidaria, they are usually diploblastic, that means two layers are there, but in between the two layers they are having a jelly like structure which is called as mesoglia. Clear? And they are usually reproducing by budding, and sometimes they are performing the sexual mode of reproduction. Okay, so presence of tentacles and stinging cells are main criteria, and soft bodied, diploblastic, elongated, sac-like structure, these are the main criteria of the hydra. Okay, so these two are first two specimens or organisms which are coming under this kingdom Animalia. Now let's move to the next one, that is liver fluke. So now I will be showing you the specimens of each. Okay, hope all of you can see it properly. So this is the liver fluke, and its scientific name is Fasciola hepatica. That means it is coming under the kingdom Animalia, phylum Platyhelminthes. Its genus is Fasciola and hepatica. You know the main criteria of the Platyhelminthes. Platys means flat. That means their body is flat, and mainly they are endoparasites. Endoparasites means they can be present inside the body of the host. So they mainly found in the ducts of the sheep, goats, livers, cattle, but sometimes it can be found in some vertebrates including man. Okay, so it can cause a serious liver disease which can called as liver rot, which is called as liver rot. Okay, so you can see it is somehow triangular, flat, leaf-like in structure, and it is covered with a cuticle, because they need to survive into the body of the host, and they are also having suckers, because suckers are also needed for their endoparasitic nature. And there you can see that their body is showing that blind sac body plan with a single opening called mouth, and animals are generally hermaphrodite. Okay, so these are the main criteria of the liver fluke. So check it properly, that the body is triangular, leaf-like. Sorry. Yes. The body is triangular, flat, leaf-like, presence of sucker, and body is covered with cuticle. Clear? So now let's move to the next one. Next one is the Ascaris lumbricoides. So again it is coming under the kingdom Animalia, and its phylum is Nemathelminthes. So what will be the characteristics that can be found in the Ascaris lumbricoides? So it is also commonly called as intestinal parasite, because they are also living as parasitic life inside the body of the human, and especially this can be found in the intestine of the children. Okay, and occasionally it can be seen in any other animals like pigs, sheep, cattle, monkeys, etc. And their body is also cylindrical and tapering in shape, and their mouth portion is surrounded by some leaf-like structure. So what is their criteria? They are mainly endoparasites. They can be found in the intestine. Their body is elongated and ends are tapering, and as they are living as endoparasitic life, they are also showing the cuticle covered body. Okay, and their mouth is guarded by some leaf-like structures. But here you need to know one more important thing, that is about the male and female Ascaris. The male, they are showing the sexually dimorphism. That means males are comparatively smaller than the females, and their posterior part is slightly curved. So what are the differences that can be found in the male and female Ascaris? So males are quite smaller, and their posterior end is slightly curved, and males have some needle-like pineal city, which is used for copulatory organs. And let me show you the male and female Ascaris, so that you can get a clear idea how you can differentiate them. So this one is the male Ascaris. look their posterior part. I have told you that posterior part is quite curved. You can see that the end part is quite curved and they are smaller than the female. So this is the male ascaris. This one is the male ascaris. Now let me show you the female one. This one is the female one. You can see their posterior part is not curved. Clear? So these are the differences between male and female ascaris. Now let's move to the next one, that is Hirudinea granulosa, which are commonly called as leech. Okay, now let me show you the leech. So this one is the leech. Again it is coming under the kingdom Animalia and it is coming under the phylum Annelida. And you can remember what are the common characteristics features that can be found under the Annelida. So what is the habitat, let me tell you. It can be found in the ponds, lakes and some damp and moist places. And they are also sometimes facultatively ectoparasites on some cattle and other mammals, as they are having suckers. You can see at the top they are having suckers, so they can suck blood. Okay, they can suck blood, and the animals who can suck blood, they are called as sanguinivorous. Okay, and their body, you can see they are also dorsoventrally flattened body, and their body is divided into some segments. Okay, and suckers are present, which are called as anrepia, and the mouth is surrounded by a cup-like sucker, which is called as anterior suckers, and the posterior portion bears a large posterior suckers. And leech are usually hermaphrodite. You can remember the meaning of the hermaphrodite. That means both male and female sex organs will be present in a single body, but they are always preferring the cross fertilization. Okay, so these are the general criteria of the leech. Now let's move to the next one. So next one is the Pheretima posthuma, that is commonly called as earthworm. So which one is the earthworm? Let me show you. So this one is the earthworm. So it is coming under the kingdom Animalia and phylum Annelida, and earthworms are called as farmer's friend because they can create a deep burrow inside the soil, and it is helping the farmer so that aeration air can pass through this soil very easily, and it is having long cylindrical segmented body, and it is quite slightly brownish or darker in color, and it is having a special structure which is called as clitellum. As you can see that their bodies are segmented, and this is the main feature of the Annelida. And on the 14th, 15th and 16th segments, a band is present which is called as clitellum. Okay, and mouth is present on the anterior end, and each segment except the first and large bears minudely CT for locomotion. That means small hair-like projections are there which are called as CT. So what are their main features? And again they are hermaphrodite and showing cross fertilization. So elongated cylindrical segmented body, presence of clitellum and prosternum, and presence of CT for locomotion. So these are the main characteristics of the earthworm. Now let's move to the next one, that is Palaeomon, which is commonly called as prawn. I think all of you have seen and all of you have eaten also. So this is the prawn, and it is also coming under the kingdom Animalia and phylum Arthropoda. You can see, but from the prawn you need to know some special structures which are present in their body. So it is slightly brownish in color, spindle shaped and curved body they are having, and this portion is called as cephalothorax, and it is covered by a hard covering which is called as carapace. And if you can see that some serrated parts is coming out from the cephalothorax, which is called as rostrum. And these are this lower portion is called as abdomen, and you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 segments are there in the abdomen. Okay, and cephalothorax bears 8 pairs of segmented legs and 1 pair of antennae and simple stalked compound eyes. So you can see that compound eyes and stalks are there. Stalks are there, that is why we can say that stalked compound eyes are present. So these are the main criteria of the prawn. Now let's move to the next one, that is silkworm. So this one is the silkworm. Okay, so silkworm is also, what is the scientific name of the silkworm? You can remember that its scientific name is Bombyx mori, and it is coming under the kingdom Animalia, and it is also coming under the phyla Arthropoda. So it is in their life cycle, they are having some stages. What are they? Egg, larva, pupa and adult. What are they? Egg, larva, pupa and adult. These are the different stages that can be found in their life cycle, and their body is divided into head, thorax and abdomen. Head, thorax and abdomen. As they are coming under the Arthropoda, so you can remember that this is the main criteria of the Arthropoda. Okay, and the larva undergoes 4 moles, then stops feeding, and they secrete a sticky fluid, and which is coming in contact with the big air and becomes silk thread. Because from this silkworm we are getting silk thread, and they are feeding on the mulberry leaves, you know that, and after that they can cover their body, the larva, and they are forming a structure which is called as cocoon. Okay, and from that cocoon, that adult male and female silkworm can be found. Okay, that means from the egg, larva will form, then pupa, then adult will be formed, and that means these are the main criteria. And as they are coming under the Arthropoda, so they are also having 2 pairs of wings and 3 pairs of legs, and larva, they are larva forms cocoon. This one is another important criteria of the silkworm. Now the next one is the Apis indica or honeybee. So here you can see all the stages of their life cycle, that means egg, larva, pupa and adult, right? So what is the scientific name of the honeybee? Scientific name of the honeybee is Apis indica. Okay, and species can be, you know that there are different type of the species, and honeybees are called as social insects. They can form a colony and they show a division of labor, and different type of the individuals can be found. You can see it is written already: queen, drone, worker. These 2 are female and drones are male. Okay, so at the time of the mating, then one queen will mate with one drone and they will lay eggs, and workers are sterile female. Okay, they are actually taking care of the babies, they are collecting the pollens. These are the main jobs they are doing. Okay, so their body is also divided into head, thorax and abdomen, and they bear a pair of antennae and a pair of compound eyes, and also they are having 3 pairs of jointed legs and wings, and they are using the flapping and rasping type of behavior, as their mouth parts is of that type. Okay, because they need to collect the honey from the pollen. Okay, so these are the main criteria. So you can see, let me show you, these are the eggs, then larva, then pupa, then adult, queen, king and worker. Clear? Now let's move to the next one, that is Phyla globosa. Look, this one is the Phyla globosa, and it is coming under the kingdom Animalia and phyla mollusca. So what will be the characteristics? You can see that their body is covered with hard covering. That means it is made up of calcareous cell. That means, and where it can be found? This mollusca can be, that means Phyla globosa can be mainly found in the fresh water, commonly in the streams, ponds, ditches, lakes, etc. That means they are surviving an aquatic life. Okay, and their main body is actually very soft and slimy, but it is covered with a calcareous cell. That means their actual body is inside this calcareous cell, and it is closed by a thick plate-like structure. You can see a thick plate-like structure, this one. This one, it is called as operculum. This thick plate-like structure is called as operculum, and their body is differentiated into head, foot, visceral mass, and mantle. Okay, and they are having some tentacles, two pairs of tentacles and one pairs of eyes, and the foot is anterior ventral, sole-like, which is used for their creeping, and their sexes are separate with slight sexual dimorphism. Okay, so these are the cell is actually, you can see that coil type of cell is there, and with the help of the foot they can locomote. Okay, so these are the main characteristics that can be found in the pila globosa. Now let's move to the next one. That is starfish, right? So it is coming under the kingdom Animalia and phylum Echinodermata. So from the name phylum Echinodermata, a common characteristic is coming in your mind, right? Which is that? That is that their body is they are having spiny body. Okay, so what are the other characteristics I have mentioned? That is their body is flat, they are having pentadactylous limbs, star-shaped structures, and their two planes are called as aboral side and oral side. Oral side and aboral side, usually they are marine, that means they can be mainly found in the rocky sea bottom in shallow water, and their body is flattened, and they are having central disc-like structure, and they are having a ambulacral groove, and the side where the mouth is present is called as oral side, and the side where anus is present is called aboral side. Okay, so these are the main characteristics, and in their arm they are having a special structures which are called as tube feet. Okay, so this is the starfish. Now let's move to the next one, that is Scoliodon or dogfish. So from this one we are getting entered into the phylum Chordata, right? So phylum Chordata, that means it is coming also under the subphylum Vertebrata, and class is Chondrichthyes. So you can remember that what is their common name of the shark? The common name of the shark is, it is also called as dogfish, and it is found mainly in the coastal areas, and their body is laterally compressed and spindle shaped body, and their body is differentiated head, trunk and tail. Head, trunk and tail, and their head is dorsoventrally compressed, and you can see where their mouth is, it is ventral. Okay, you can see on the lower side of the head mouth is present, that is why it is called as their mouth is, usually mouth is ventral, and they are having fins for their locomotion, and their body is made up of mainly cartilage. That is why they are called as cartilaginous fish. And their tail, you can see their tails, it is not of similar type. This type of tail is called as heterocircle tail, and they are not having any kind of operculum, and they are usually giving birth to young ones. Okay, and their sexes are separated, and males have claspers in their pelvic region which are used for their copulatory organ. Okay, so these are the just few common characteristics that can be found in the Scoliodon or shark. Now let's move to the next one. You can see that I have drawn a fish, another fish which is called as Labiorohita. Sorry, I have forgotten to underline the species Labiorohita, right? Which is commonly called as, Indian carp or common carp, and it is also coming under the subphylum Vertebrata, and its class is Ostrichthyes. It is called as bony fish. The previous one was the cartilaginous fish, and this one is the bony fish because they are having bones. Okay, and what are the other criteria? You can see that their body scales, but the body of the chondrichthyes are also covered with scales, but their scales are of different types. You can remember all this I have discussed in the theory class, and you can see that their mouth is at the terminus. So we can say they are having terminal mouth. This is the eye, and their body is this portion, gills are covered with a special structure which is called as operculum and swim bladder is also present in this type of fishes, which is absent in the chondrichthyes. Okay, and these are the different fins. This one pectoral fin, pelvic fin, anal fin, and at the end caudal fin. It is also called as tail. You can see their tail is of similar type. That is why it is called as homocercal tail. Okay, and they are having lateral line sense organ, which is helping them to survive in the water for direction, and their body is showing slimy type of appearance, and their body is spindle shaped. So these are the main criteria, and nostrils can be present there, and swim bladders can be present. So these are the main criteria that can be found in the rohu or Indian carp. Now let's move to the next one, that is the frog. Okay, Rana trigrina, or whatever the species it is. In your book it is Rana trigrina is given. So it is also coming under the kingdom Animalia, but it is coming under the class Amphibia. So you can remember the characteristics of class Amphibia, that means they are having the nature of surviving in both land and water. That is why they are called as Amphibia. Amphi means both, right? So what will be the characteristics that can be found in the Amphibia? So usually in case of Rana, their body is dark green color, some patches can be found, some slimy type of appearance can be found, and their body, their body is somewhat triangular in shape and bilaterally symmetrical with head and trunk. Okay, and you know that as they can survive in both land and water, so they are having some special criteria, and they are in their trunk you can see they are having limbs. So this is the eye, they are not having ear properly, so they are having a special structure which is called as tympanum. This pointed portion is called as snout, this one is their head, trunk, and this portion is called as abdomen. This one is the forelimb and this one is the hind limb, and they are having a common opening which is called as cloacal aperture. And you can remember that in their limbs they are having digits, but in their digits they are not having claws, right? So these are the main characteristics of the Amphibia. Now let's move to the next one, that is the lizard, which is coming under the reptiles, right? So it is coming under the class Reptilia. So in the reptiles, what are the main characteristics? You can see these are the eyes, nostrils, these are the forelimbs and hind limbs, and this is head, trunk and tail, how their body is divided. But one important criteria you can see, their digits, fore and hind limbs are having digits but with claws, but the previous one they are not having claws. Okay, so these are the main criteria, and you can see that their head is broad and distinct, and their limbs are pentadactyl. That means 5 digits are there, 1 2 3 4 5, 1 2 3 4 5. This is another important point that can be found in case of lizards. Now let's move to the next one. So after Amphibia, Reptilia, after that what you can get, that is abyss. Okay, so under the abyss what are the criteria you can get? That is, it is their head and it is their beak, a small opening will be there, nostril, eye, their body is covered with wing, these are the legs, digits. So this is a diagram of the pigeon and their body. The main criteria of the pigeon is their body is covered with feathers, and their tail feathers and body feathers are divided. Okay, so these are the tail feathers. Clear? And you know that their forelimbs are modified into wings, and hind limbs can be used for different purposes like for working, perching. So many functions they are performing, so according to that their hind limbs are modified. Okay, so their body is usually long, and this is the main criteria, that their body is covered with feathers. Clear? And as you can see that in the hind limbs they are having digits, and digits with claws also. Clear? Now the last one, what is that? That is the rabbit. Last one, that is the rabbit, and it is coming under the class Mammalia. So after the abyss you know that class Mammalia will be coming, and you can see that how their body looks like. This is the head, nostril, eye, clawed digits are there, this portion is trunk, and a small bushy tail is there in their body. So where they are living, they are actually living in the fields, in the burrows, and they are mainly herbivorous type of, and their body is divided into head, neck, trunk and small bushy tail, and their body is covered with hair. It may be blackish type of or maybe whitish type of, and you can see that they are having main and important criteria, that is pinna, which is the main criteria of the mammals, that is they are having external ear and the pinna, and their forelimbs are modified and shorter for burrowing, and hind limbs are long, which is helping them for running and many other purposes. So these are the criteria of the rabbit. So with that I am finishing the main characteristics of this particular practical, that means which was in your spotting part. Clear? So everyone who need, please draw these diagrams in your copy, or you will be getting these diagrams in your book also. It is your choice. If you want, you can draw. Now let me know if you are having any queries, any doubts from this practical, because after that I will be showing you another practical. Everyone, please let me know if you are having any doubt regarding this practical. No doubt, ma'am. No doubt. Everyone, if you are having any doubt, you can ask me. I am giving you 2 minutes of time. After that, I will be starting another practical, which is very easy one. Means in the subject headings, do we have to write the scientific names as? Yes, you can write it down. Write it down. And don't forget to underline. But no need of writing all those points like 7 to 8 points. It will be okay if you write 4 to 5 main points. And don't forget to draw the diagrams on the left side white page and a level diagram. Keep that in your mind. A level diagram is needed. Anything else? So everyone, today I will be finishing your practical syllabus. So you will be getting a submission date very soon. So start writing. And you have promised me that you will be submitting a neat and clean practical and project copy, right? Yes. Ma'am, what is the order? Oh, you need the order, na? I forgot. Thank you for remembering. Miss, after the class, can you please send? Yes, yes, obviously, I will be sending. Which one to put first? Okay, let me tell you the order. Okay, write it down according to the syllabus. That means at the beginning first you will be writing the flower part. After that osmosis, then the topics which will be coming under the observation. Please follow the order of your syllabus. Okay, follow the order from your syllabus. But at the beginning you will be writing the flower part. At the beginning you will be writing the dissection of the flower, then osmosis, then the practicals which are there, that means compound simple microscope, compound microscope, then the specimens like bacteria, oscillatoria. After that, today which one I have discussed, that means amoeba, liver fluke, then So this one is your last one. Like this. That means how it is written in your syllabus. Clear? Please follow this order. Everyone, please follow this order of your practical writing, how it is written in your revised syllabus. Okay? Clear? Okay. Where to put this one at the beginning. Components of biology box will be at the beginning. Do we have to write about simple? Yeah. You have to write it down. Though it is not mentioned in your syllabus, but you have to write it down. I have written about parts of. Before the parts of compound microscope, please attach that one page where you need to write about the simple microscope. Which one is the flower? Flower one I will be showing you today. Wait for that. What to write about? I have told you. Hiranmoy, please follow that particular video. You will get to know everything. I have sent a picture also. I have sent the documents for that particular practical. So if you are not getting, you can ask from your friends or you can find it in the chat box. And it is also there in your book. So everything you will be getting from your book. Components of biology box, flower dissection, osmosis, microscope, bacteria part. Yeah, this is the right one. Very good. Everyone follow this order. Yeah, it will be okay. Write down in very short. Simple microscope. You can write it down in short. Please follow the chat box. I have sent a diagram, and with that in your book you will be getting, and I have sent that portion, a very small portion which you need to write it down. That means you need to draw the diagram of the simple microscope. Let me show you once again that this diagram I have sent, and with that you can see that they have mentioned the different parts. You need to just write it down. It will be within the one page. Please check that it will be available in the chat box. I can remember that I have sent this one. Clear? And today I will be sending you the photos of today's practical after your class. Draw the diagram on the left side white page. Always draw the diagram on the left side white page, and the right side page is for writing about the practical. Clear? Yeah. You need to submit your project with your practical copy also. No, today it will not be possible, I think. Please collect it from your friends, because you can find it in the chat box. Why you are not getting? Let me check. Okay, it is here. I am sending. It is here. No worries. Look. Got it? Look. I have sent it. And I have got it from the chat box. And you are not getting. Very bad. Already it is written. You can check. Topics of the practical, you can check it from the website which is available, and also I have uploaded videos. Please check it from that, and also it is sitting as written. Please check it. Anything else? No, for you no need of covering. For you no need of covering your practical copy. Oh, there may be. Maybe for that. Your net is slow, that is why you are not getting, but I have got from the chat. Though I have sent it once again. You can check it from that also. For the project. For the project you can cover. For the project you can cover. For the practical it is not needed, but for the project you can cover your practical copy with white page or printout page, whatever you want, and write down the basic information about your name, roll number, class, school name and topic name, like this. It will be better for the project, it will be better if you cover. It is not compulsory. Okay. For the practical no need of covering, but for the project it will be better if you cover it. Clear? And use white art paper, and you can print it out also. It is totally your choice. Now let's move to the next practical. Today's next practical is about the dissection of a flower. So you can see that in your syllabus they have mentioned the name of some families, but as you know that these flowers are not easily available in our geographical area, so today I will be showing you with the hibiscus flower, because here China rose is easily available, right? So I will be using hibiscus or China rose flower for your practical. So you can see that this is your China rose or hibiscus flower. So how and what you have to do? I will be sending you picture that on your examination day what exactly you need to do. Clear? That means you need to separate all those floral parts, and you need to keep it on a white page or a page which I will be providing, and you need to label all those different floral parts. Clear? So I will be sending you picture on your examination day. You need to perform this one. And now what we will be doing? I will be showing you how you can separate all those floral parts. Clear? So for that what do we need? We need a needle. So first what we will be doing? We will be holding flower like this, and with the needle we will cut this. So what are the different floral parts? Calyx, corolla, androecium, gynoecium. So which part we will be separating at the beginning? Obviously the calyx. So let me separate the calyx part. I have separated the calyx part. So you can see what is the number of sepals. So units of calyx are called as sepals, and number of sepals are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and they are jointed. Okay, so you need to mention all those important points. Now we will be keeping it on the white page, and after that we will be separating the petals. What are the number of petals? You know, if you are having, I think all of you are having a hibiscus tree at your home, so you can do it at your home. So you will be getting 5 petals. Okay, so then let's move to the next part, that is androecium. And you can see that some structures are there. These are present below the calyx, and these are called as apicalyx. Now let's move to the androecium. How you will be separating this? Like this. and you need to be very careful because this is a bisexual flower, so androecium and gynoecium we will be getting within the single flower, so don't damage the gynoecium part. So you can see that I am separating. So this is the androecium. So these are the anther. You can see the pollen grains, and this part is called as filament. Okay, and this is the unit of androecium is called as stamen, right? And the last part is the gynoecium, and its units are called as pistil or carpel. You can see that this one is the ovary. This long slender tube-like part is called as, just a minute, this part is called as style, and this upper part is called as stigma. So stigma, style, ovary. So you can see this one is the stigma, after that style, and at the end ovary. Okay, so next part you need to do, that is you need to separate the ovary, and with the blade you need to make a cross section of the ovary, and you need to check it under the microscope. Okay, so let me show you that how we will be arranging all those parts. I think it is difficult to see, that is why I will be taking a picture and I will send it to you. Okay, so this is all about this practical. So today we have completed all the practicals which are in your revised syllabus. So, and you know that what is the, okay, sorry, you know that how you need to write it down, how you will be writing it down. I will be sending you the picture of writing part also. Okay, so after the class I will be sending the picture of all those specimens and the picture how I have arranged the all floral parts, how you need to do on your exam day, and the writing part of this practical. Okay, writing part of this practical I will be sending it to you. Clear? Yeah. Clear everyone? Anything else? So if you face any problem, you can ask me in my theory class also. As today we have completed the practical and you will be getting a submission date very soon. So prepare your practical copies, and I need a very neat and clean practical and project copy. I will be giving you the date, and very soon. Let's see, still not decided. followed the question pattern of the class 12 which has been provided by the CBSE. You can download it from the website and you will be getting the idea that what will be your question pattern. Still not decided? I will let you know every information and you need to wait for that, for knowing the date of practical examination and theory examination. Okay, before that I will let you know your practical and project submission date, and it will be very soon. Okay, I think you are not having any doubt right now, so I am finishing my class here. Thank you and bye bye for today.